Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to be reviewing Ravencoin against some other cryptocurrencies, and we're going to look at the pros and cons of Ravencoin versus Ethereum and Ravencoin versus Solana, and we'll see which is the best network. So let's start off going over how Ravencoin works. It is a proof of work network, which is GPU mineable, and a lot of people agree that proof of work is the most solid consensus method economically, because it requires like external hardware instead of you just being able to buy crypto and stake it like in a proof of stake network. And Ravencoin has 1 minute block time with 2 megabyte block size, which is about 20 times as much as Bitcoin, which has 10-minute block time and only 1 megabyte block size. And Ravencoin's key feature is the asset layer, and the asset layer can include IPFS data to the asset that you create, and an asset is just like a token. So I'll show you how assets work somewhat over here. So you can create assets and you can send them around, like the scam coin asset. All these assets you can use, and it's just a simple ERC20 type token, and that's just for main assets that are like these ERC20 tokens. There are also unique assets that have this hashtag in them, and those are like ERC721 tokens, so they're unique. However, although Ravencoin assets are great and all, and they're super cool tokens, they are very limited in their functionality, because you can't really do anything with the token in a decentralized way once you've created it. Like if I create a token to represent shares in a company, I cannot sell that token in a decentralized way. I would have to rely on either you sending me the money first and then I send you the token, or I send you the token and then you sending me the money. So there's not much decentralization that you can create on Ravencoin. So that's why I don't see it really replacing Wall Street. Plus, I mean, there would have to be a very, very strong reason to replace Wall Street, because just because it could replace Wall Street doesn't mean it will. And I don't think Ravencoin in its current state could replace Wall Street anyways. One other thing to go over about Ravencoin is that it has very low fees as of now, but if Ravencoin were to see some use, like Wall Street levels of use, the fees would be insane. It's about 0.01 Ravencoin right now. It's a bit less than that to send a transaction. It would be probably 1 Ravencoin per transaction if we saw Wall Street wanting to build on Ravencoin. At first it would go up a lot, dude. And 1 Ravencoin does not sound like a lot, but if it's being used on Wall Street, the price is gonna be up $50-$60, but it won't be used on Wall Street, so it won't be going to $50-$60. So low fees, you can create assets, you can create tokens, they can include IPFS, and you can have unique assets if you want to make NFTs or whatever. Now with Ethereum, we have another proof of work network for now, but they are planning on moving to proof of stake within 2 to 3 years, which of course is not quite economically sound. Proof of stake has its problems, but Vitalik wants to stake his bag, so we'll move over to his new fork. They have 15-second block time for now, and it's about 50 kilobytes in the block size. And of course, the coolest thing about Ethereum is the smart contracts, which you can create tokens on, and these tokens have standards like ERC20, ERC223, ERC721, and these can be implemented to essentially add any functionality into Ethereum. Smart contracts have a lot of interesting uses. So Uniswap is probably what you've heard about before. It lets you do yield farming on Ethereum, and you can swap your Ethereum for USDC or whatever token. And that's under DeFi, or decentralized finance. And that's just one thing that these smart contracts can do. Another thing you could do is like a lending platform. So you could lend out your US dollars to someone who wants to buy Ethereum on margin. You could lend out your tokenized shares if someone wants to short them. And you can always collect interest on what you're lending out. So you have just about endless possibilities for what you can do, which I think is pretty darn cool, compared to Ravencoin, which you just don't have that flexibility. And like, for example, if you tokenize a stock on Ethereum, you can sell it in a decentralized way with Uniswap. However, Ethereum is very, very expensive, as you probably know, because of the such small block size. So Uniswap on a good day is going to cost about $50, and on a bad day it's going to cost up to $200, even more sometimes, to do a Uniswap swap, which is absolutely ridiculous. But that brings me to the next coin of Solana, and it's delegated proof of stake as its consensus, which of course delegated proof of stake, it has its problems too. It is somewhat centralized because there's only, I'm not sure exactly how many for Solana, but it's about 20 or so nodes that dominate the network, and you can only become one of these 20 nodes if you have a ton of people staking Solana, delegating their Solana to you. So it's hard to become a node, but once you do, you get so much power in the network. That's like 5% of the network. So it's not quite the end-all be-all of consensus, but it is very, very scalable. It's also what Binance Smart Chain uses, delegated proof of stake. So Solana can do up to 50k TPS with this delegated proof of stake, and it has about 400 millisecond block time. And so this makes their fees essentially nothing. It is less than 1 cent in fees per transaction. So they also have smart contract functionality, which includes all these things that Ethereum can do: DeFi, yield farming, lending, anything, games, whatever. So essentially, what I see in Solana is that it is the same functionality as Ethereum, but much faster and much cheaper. And I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Binance Smart Chain, Cardano, Polkadot, but for me, Solana is just much more it's the most scalable, and I know Polkadot has some problems with composability, because you're launching different blockchains on a blockchain. So those blockchains that you've launched on the main blockchain aren't going to really be able to interact, if I understand it correctly. Solana is going to be able to have all these contracts running on the same chain, so they'll be able to interact very easily. So for me, if I'm going to choose between Ravencoin, Ethereum, or Solana, for me right now it's going to be Solana. Ravencoin, it has a great community, great coin, but it just doesn't have the functionality that you can get out of Ethereum or Solana. But that's it. Thank you for watching. And John Pizza is John Pizza now.